Welcome back to the Smugglers Den. No, the Smugglers Den is not dead. Don't ask that question. It's episode 52. It's been a little while. Apparently, I've been busier than I thought I was. I thought it'd been like a week and a half. I looked. It's been a while, so my apologies there. Thanks so much to everyone who supports the show on Patreon. Your generous support has been amazing. And I want to bring in our guest this week. No, you didn't tune into the Jedi Trials. It's Mike the Rebel Spy! What's happening, Mike?
Woo! What's up, man?
So, what's up, Mike? How has your Destiny been treating you?
Destiny's been awesome. I've just been having a lot of fun playing around with obviously the new cards and playing, random, like, sealed events and stuff like that, or just, like, getting together with a buddy and playing sealed. So it's been a very fun couple of weeks of Destiny. How about you?
I agree. It's hard for me to make time to get out of the house now that school has started back up, which makes me sad. But I've been drafting with Legacies. John and I, of course, did some one-on-one sealed events. We did 2 of them to go through a box. That was really fun. Awesome. And then we did our draft. That was a lot of fun. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. I will say this. Doesn't it feel like it's out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, it's not just me.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone I know who wants Legacies has it. I could buy all I want. I don't want to buy more boxes. So what is going on, Mike? Why is it not just legal right now?
Yeah, I have no idea. Honestly, couldn't tell you. The store that I usually go to still has at least 10 boxes. I would guess, and that's after all of us have bought at least one. So
yeah, it seems odd to me. I don't know what's going on. Maybe this was just their clever way of saying, wink, wink. It's not a formal tier event, so there isn't a 11-day waiting period, so wink wink, we haven't released it, wink wink. I don't know, I can't quite figure it out, or if maybe it's just that this initial preview wave ended up being a lot bigger than they had initially anticipated. I don't know which one of those is right, or if neither is right.
Yeah, I mean, if it did end up being bigger than they anticipated, then like they can't really go back and say, oh wait, no, it's released now. So it would kind of make sense that they just kind of like leave it as is, since there's really only like 2 weeks of just this weird limbo.
Yeah, which puts us, you and I, in a really weird spot. We actually have a regional. Is it February 3rd?
Yep, February 3rd.
If you want to hang out with us, if you want to hang out with John, if you want to hang out with the whole Smugglers Den crew, come down to San Diego February 3rd for the first, I'm just going to say it. It might not even be true. The first Legacies regional event, which is utterly terrifying, Mike. There are so many possible decks. I do not have infinite time, so I can't even go through all the possible decks, let alone play test them all 100 times each. It's a terrifying moment. It is for me especially. I feel like there's pressure on me. Like, if I go to this event and just do terribly, it's like, what happened to Tiny Grimes? Why does he suck at Destiny now?
Yeah, it's a very weird spot, but it's also I think it's also kind of exciting. Like, everybody's going to be in the same pool, except for maybe the people who like literally don't do anything else and can play 1,000 games in 2 weeks. But my guess is that the majority of people there will all sort of be in the same boat of trying to have figured out what is good and not really knowing anything. There's no tournament results to go off of, so I think personally, like, it'll make for a much more exciting tournament.
It's funny how that works. It's like at the beginning of a tournament season, or like the beginning of a new cycle is what I'm trying to say, or a new set. Like, it's really more open, and that seems better. But for me, it's kind of unfair because, like you said, it's kind of a time thing. Like, when I'm not working, I would be going to this event being like, yeah, you guys are in trouble. Like, I've played a lot of games, and instead I feel like the reverse. I'm like, yeah, okay, I haven't even played all the decks I'd like to play to see if they're any good. So that's kind of a weird thing for me. It's like a huge time advantage. Who can set aside a lot of time to playtest?
Yeah, I that's a fair point.
Is that you, Mike? Have you gotten a chance to play every deck you want to play 20 times and you're locked in and you're
Oh no,
you're going? No.
You know how well I prepare for things, and so this time has been no different.
That's true. That's a good point.
I have, I think, 14 Legacies decks built in the database, and I've tried maybe 4 of them.
Yeah. My big problem is I've only opened one box. So
Yeah.
like I have a number of decks in the database. I've tried almost none of them. I'm actually going to be there tomorrow night at the big playtesting meeting. And I can't build any of the decks. Like I literally cannot build one deck. I don't even have 2 Aayla Securas yet.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I'm hurting.
Yeah, that makes it tough. I actually I got 2 this time. I think I've previously gotten like 3 or 4 for each set.
Yeah.
But I figured like since I'm probably going to be drafting a decent amount, I didn't want to be front loaded with a ton of cards. But I did end up ordering a few singles of cards that like I thought were pretty cheap on just like online. So
yeah, we'll get together after the show. You tell
collection.
me, tell me what cards those were, so I know.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so it's an interesting time for Destiny. It's certainly an exciting time for Legacy. So let's talk about this. We're going to unveil our extremely limited research and what we're seeing as good right now. This is dangerous because I got to imagine. Okay, wait, we're just going to preface this. If you live in Southern California, dude, you got to turn it off. Play fair, man. Play fair. Turn off the podcast. Don't be spying on Mike and I. Everyone else,
Yeah,
talk
guys.
meta. We're going to talk some meta. All right, Mike, let's say you had a regional coming up, we'll say in like a week or two. What would you be tempted to play? Like, what's your number one deck right now that you're thinking, I don't know if this is the best deck, but this is kind of where I'm leaning at the moment, which could change dramatically?
I really like Mother Talzin. And so maybe like Talzin with Kallus or Talzin with the new Palpatine. Maybe even Talzin with like new Kylo or Baby Vader. Like something like that sounds intriguing to me because I just really like her as a character. I think she's really strong. So
okay.
I haven't done a ton of, like games with her, but from what I have played, I like her quite a bit.
All right, let's back up a moment then, I guess, since you went pretty broad there. Let's talk about the characters that are new that we think have the potential for the biggest impact. So it sounds like you think Talzin is one.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I have like 10 Talzin decks built. Same problem.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, because a single die Talzin sounds really good also, right? Because they're like, I kind of got to kill her, and she's only 1 die. They have 21 more points.
Mm-hmm.
So another character that I think is just, I think actually might be broken is Tarkin. Like that character feels like a character where they were like, hey, end of playtesting, here's a new thing, or like FFG has been known to kind of do things like that. It just kind of feels like one of these, either like it was really powerful and got tuned down and then slipped under the radar or last second, or maybe didn't even show the playtesters. It just feels like with how well balanced this set is, that card slipped by. That power action is so absurd.
Yeah, that power action is really, really good. I've only played a couple like games playing as Tarkin, and it was insane. And even the times playing against it, he is very good. That's for sure.
Yeah, so he's definitely one of those. Are there any other new characters where you're thinking this character is just really good?
I actually really like Agent Kallus. I think he is like pretty solid. He has 12 health and 4 damage sides that can kind of become any other damage side, which is like really awesome. I actually played Kallus with 1 die Maul at our like weekly event last night, just because that's like the cards that I had.
Yeah.
And I won, so it was pretty sweet. Like you're able to put a so much damage. And then that particular deck that I played, like I'm loading up Maul with all my upgrades, so
Yeah.
no matter who you go for first, like either Maul gets like an heirloom lightsaber, which redeploys over to Kallus, or like you kill Kallus first. I don't put any upgrades on him because I know you're gonna kill him, and then Maul becomes a beast at the end of the game. So
Is this
that was a fun deck.
does it have holocrons as well, or does it just go all in on sabers?
No, it's just weapons.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because before I played against Kallus the other day, I would have sort of scoffed at that. Kallus is freaking awesome. Like,
Yeah, he's sweet.
he is really good and flexible. You roll a 1 ranged and suddenly power action later it's a 3 melee. That's some scary stuff.
It's crazy. I'm actually fairly surprised that he's just a rare.
Yeah.
Same with Obi-Wan. Like he feels like he's kind of on a similar power level to Obi-Wan.
I can see that. He definitely seems really, really good. I would have to agree with that. I think for me another character that's in this overpowered range is Aayla Secura, a 9/12 with 3 damage sides, another side that is both mitigation and a focus side, and then a dollar. Like she is absurdly, obscenely good.
So good, yeah.
I predicted Balance of the Force for her a long time ago. I stand by that. I think she'll get balanced at some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I don't know if she has a partner that's as powerful as like New Kylo. If you're gonna sort of compare her to New Phasma, but I still wouldn't be surprised if she got adjusted.
Yep, I agree. I don't think she has a partner that exposes how broken she is. But I think she is broken. I've been playing her with new Poe, new Aayla, profitable connections, 3-drop turn 1. That's some scary stuff, man. You're like, first play, light bow. I'm like, light bow? What?
Or Y-wing or something.
Oh yeah, sure. There's so many options there. It's terrifying.
Okay, can you imagine if Kallus was a hero character and you compare Aayla with Kallus?
Yeah.
Like, how disgusting would that be?
Yeah. Or new Kylo. Sure. Sure. All kinds of stuff. Yeah. Or Tarkin. Like, that could be insane, too. Also, Yoda. Like, it's funny because Yoda, it felt like, came out of the gate hot. And people are like, oh my goodness, Yoda's the most broken thing ever. And now it feels like people are like, cooling off on Yoda. I still think Yoda is really good. I have some tricks with Yoda that I think are very strong. I need to test him more. Again, this is my problem. I can't really test anything. But I still think at 10-13, chaining specials is really, really strong.
Yeah, I agree that he's very strong. I think that he's a bit overhyped right now. I think that like even looking at his price, like paying $50 for a Yoda, I personally think is insane. I think he'll settle somewhere around like 25, 30. Because he's Yoda. Everybody wants Yoda.
Yeah.
So like at the very least, he'll be sort of like what Luke or Vader was in Awakenings. But being a support character, like he's not. When I've played against him or when I've played him, he's not usually enough of a threat to go after him first.
Yes.
And then depending on the deck, like most of the times that I've played against him, if I killed his partner, he just doesn't do anything, and then I just win because his die doesn't actually deal any damage.
Yeah. That's what I've heard from a lot of people. I haven't found that to be the case because the way I play him, I put everything on him. Every weapon goes on him. They all have specials. I play Y-Wing. I play Partnership to be able to like roll out Partnership, all in, resolve a pile of stuff, do 9 damage that you can't mitigate, and like it's felt really strong to me. But I definitely get that if you're just trying to like play it straight up, I don't think that works. I think you have to be tricky and like assemble something together.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that that's probably the right way to play him and the way that people will sort of gravitate once they have a bit more games in with him.
Yeah. So any other characters that you're thinking are build arounds? I think that's it for me. I'm curious to hear what you got.
Maybe Zeb.
Okay.
His die is super good with the 3 three melee sides. So I actually tried playing Zeb Ray. The theory being that like it's just a better version or a more consistent version of Han Ray.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually hated playing it, and I remembered why I didn't really like playing Han Ray. And it's because like none of those character dice have ways to fix themselves, and you just have to rely on rolling like those damage sides, which I am not very good at. So I need all the help I can get.
Yeah.
If you play like Zeb Ray or something, I feel like you need something like Jedi Robes or like the Hush Comlink, like the new one that has the 1 focus and 2 focus, or like Motha's Goggles, or like some way to help fix your dice.
Right.
I've been thinking about putting him with Kanan instead because he's got that natural
What about with
focus,
Yoda?
which is really nice. Yeah, I could totally see him working with Yoda too.
But then it's the same problem when he dies. Yoda is
Yeah,
all by himself.
yeah, and then I feel like you want to play him with stuff like Shoto lightsaber, Ancient lightsaber, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And none of those redeploy, which is a bit sad. So,
Yep.
Or again, it's really not sad, but
Yeah. The other character I thought was amazing is Palpatine. The problem with new Palpatine is I feel like he is just too expensive for his damage output. Like, he's great, and he allows you to do the trickiest, most amazing, obscene things, and then lose. That's been my experience with him. Did we play?
Yeah, we played. I was playing Zeb something. You were playing Palpatine Piggy, I think.
Yep.
And yeah, I like for 4 points, his die is like very mediocre. I mean, it does have 3 damage sides, which are all 2, so like it's not bad.
Yeah, it's
just
good. It's solid, but he doesn't
it's not
feel
insane.
like 20.
Yeah,
Like, he's no
because
Vader.
of the fact. Yeah, no, and because of the fact that you can really only have a 3 die start with him.
Yeah.
If you play him elite, then it makes it a bit sad.
Yeah. And the other comparison is like, yeah, he does awesome things, but the new Tarkin is only 16 for elite.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is where a lot of these problems come in.
Yeah, definitely. He feels a bit pricey. I don't know how much they could have dropped him without him being just insane. I guess his die would have to change, but yeah. Like that being said, I really like him as a character. I think he's really cool. And the version that I've played with Taliesin is really fun. Because most of the cards that you want to put in that deck are odd costed anyway, with like snares and It Will All Be Mines and Witch Magic and Rise Again. So
remember when It'll All Be Mine you 2 turns in a row and you basically didn't get 2 turns and then you still won?
Vaguely.
That was the moment when I was like,
You're like,
this deck is not working. If I can deprive Mike of 2 entire turns in the end game and still lose badly, there's something wrong here. And I think the thing might just be, this is not a beginning of the set deck. Like, this is a deck that needs to know what the meta looks like to play the right sneaky removal. It needs a lot of time to figure out how you put this together. So by the end of the meta, I could see people coming back around to this. But I feel like right now, it's just not where it needs to be.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that lately. It's a lot harder to play a controlling style deck in early on in a meta when you don't know what you're trying to control. So
yeah,
exactly. I think that makes sense. I think that if anybody's struggling to figure out what they're going to play for one of these things, maybe start with something that just tries to deal a pile of damage.
Yep. That's why aggro decks are usually so good at the start of a meta, and at the end of a meta, the control decks kind of sneak back in and say, oh, that's the meta? Okay, I can counter that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's talk about some decks then. You basically said Mother Taliesin plus whatever cards you own sounds good.
Yeah, that's like one of the things that I've been thinking of for sure. Man,
all right, then I'll go.
Too many decks.
I'll say Tarkin plus something. A fairly obvious move is to get a 5 dice start and go 7th Sister, and a lot of people have jumped on that, and I agree that definitely seems strong to be able to have 5 dice right out of the gate. The thing is, I don't know, I wonder if we can find some better stuff where maybe we go like one die Tarkin, elite Kylo. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm still sort of searching with that. But that 5 die Tarkin start may just be the best start we have, because having 5 dice with Tarkin's ability is just really, really good.
Yeah. You got a lot of ways that you can link up your dice that way. But I mean, it is worth noting that, you know, his ability doesn't require him to be elite. So, like, looking at one die Tarkin builds may be worth it.
Yeah. Anytime I see a really strong power action, I immediately just want to play that character as one die, because I feel like a lot of that cost is built into the power action rather than the dice. So let me just take the one die version. I still get the power action, and now I get all this other stuff to go with it. And that's how I was originally trying to build it. And I just really struggled to find a good combination that allowed me to do that. Like, you could go Tarkin, just a regular 7th Sister, and then a 6-cost guy, just to get more health. But I originally tried something like that, and I found that while the 6-cost guys work okay in draft, they suck in constructed. Like, they just die in a shot. As you get near the mid game, someone just rolls out 6 and just kills them, and you're like, well, that didn't work very well.
Yeah.
I also was doing something really controversial with mine. I took out the Seeker droids. I just went all weapons.
Interesting.
Because my theory is they're probably going to kill Tarkin first, so that's fine. You can just load the 7th Sister up with Seekers. But you're really all in on getting those Seekers if you play them. Like, it means you're playing less weapons, so you're probably not playing like Shoto because you don't have enough weapons. And I just don't. I also don't love the Seeker droid when there's only 2 dice out. I know you get like a powerful 2 focus or something, but then you're left with a 1, and it's just really unimpactful. So I was doing stuff like Maul Saber, a vibro knife, a bunch of other heirloom lightsabers. I just went all in on weapons, and it was running pretty well.
Nice.
I mean, that is, of course, having all the 1 and 0 cost stuff as like the base of the deck, so that you're getting the free power action.
Right. I totally see that, and I see your point about the Seeker droids as well. I've thought for a while that, like, you can kind of think of the Seeker droid die that you get with 7th Sister just like as like a little extra, like half a die, like a nice little bonus, without having to play the Seeker droids. And obviously the Seeker droids can be good, and I think the last Galactic Qualifiers thing kind of proved that. But I think there's room for her to be played without that as well. So
I think if you're going to go all in on them, then it's great, right? You're going to go all in and feint and do all these shenanigans. Go for it. That's amazing if you can get that to work. But I just kind of like the idea of getting away from them.
Yeah, totally. And I think that strategy works not as well when your opponent knows what you're trying to do. Yeah,
that may be. Oh, are you talking about the 1-turn kill one?
Yeah. Like, you just kill 7th Sister, and then the game's over.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about my version. There's redeploy blue weapons and ancient lightsabers, and it's much harder if they do decide to just blitz down the 7th Sister because, say, they're worried about the 1-turn KO. Like, I'm wondering if that's just the answer. Like, everyone kills Tarkin first. But if people are playing the Seeker droids and not weapons, maybe the answer is just kill 7th Sister, and then Tarkin does 4 indirect to turn, big whoop.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the answer. Because I've said to everybody, you have to kill Tarkin first. That's just obvious. But maybe that's incorrect. Maybe you just always melt that 7th Sister right away.
Yeah, maybe you're getting rid of 2 dice at least. So
you're getting rid of 3 dice, right?
Well, if you play her elite, then yes. If you're playing the 3-character version.
No. I was talking about 2-character version.
Yeah. Then, you're getting rid of 3 dice. Like, Tarkin on his own, unless he's, getting 2 to 3 upgrades.
Yeah.
He can do a max of 4 damage a turn. So.
And if those 2 to 3 upgrades are Seeker droids, they're not that good. When you put 1 Seeker droid on Tarkin.
No. And they have 6 different sides, so it's a little bit harder to link them together.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm still I guess the bottom line is I'm unsure what the best Seven Sister Tarkin deck is. I think there's a good one though, and I'm also unsure if that's the best Tarkin deck. Like it's certainly the easy one, right? It's like the obvious build me deck, but I think Tarkin's broken. I don't know the final build we're going to come up with. Unfortunately, I highly doubt we'll come up with it by February 3rd. But that card is that is going to be a regional winning card in several decks. All right, what's your next deck, Mike, that you think is a serious deck that people should prepare for if they have an event immediately?
All right. Oh, okay. Like on February 3rd.
Yeah, I'm taking notes in case it sounds good.
Yeah, so one of the decks that I've played against the most is Obi-Wan Maz, and I think that people have like started to identify that as one of the stronger decks, or at least it is a popular deck, so it'd be worth practicing against and trying to build your deck against. And
That's interesting. That deck just doesn't seem good to me.
I mean, it's like a lower ceiling version of Pomaz.
It seems like a terrible version of Pomaz. Like, just awful. Like, you can barely do any damage with it.
Well, Obi-Wan's got 2/3 sides on both of his dice.
Sure.
And then, you give him, like, a couple Shotos, and he's getting 3 shields a turn.
You give anyone a couple Shotos, Mike, and they're good. What are you talking about?
No, I totally agree. But it's... Yeah, I mean, like... you roll out Obi-Wan, you hit 2/3s or you don't, and then you roll Maz, and then you deal 6 to 8 damage a turn. I mean, it's like it's not insane, but a lot of people are playing it, so
yeah, that just I don't know. That doesn't feel that great to me, but
it's
I can see how if you do get the 6 every turn, but it's the same thing as Maz. It feels like just that's people being foolish and not running removal. They roll out Obi-Wan, you remove one of the dice. They do 3 damage that turn. Ooh, how terrifying. Like, that's pretty weak.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if
I haven't
that's...
had too much trouble against it.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a symptom of, every meta that has low removal at the beginning, or if it is really powerful, but I just can't imagine that Obi Maz is actually good.
I don't know if it's powerful or just popular.
Yeah.
Is the thing. But that's something that I have been coming across quite a bit.
Interesting.
Yeah. I also today played against for the first time I played against 5 battle droids, and that was a pretty sweet deck actually.
that sounds terrible. They just die instantly.
He got a total of 7 battle droids out that game.
Okay, that's kind of cool. So he's running the whatever it's called.
He had like drudge work, aftermath.
Oh, okay.
I was lucky that both of his attritions were at the bottom of his deck.
Oh, geez,
and then Endless Ranks, the Separatist Landing Craft.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he made so much money, but it happened. And then, because he played 2 copies of Crackdown, which is the new card where it's like if each of your opponent's characters has a damage on it, you get to draw a card, or you get to gain a resource.
Yeah.
So a couple of those, plus a couple of the other new like red gain of money type thing.
So
worked out pretty nice for him.
I was running a similar deck, only totally different. So the way I ran mine is I just did a 4-wide villain deck with Separatist Landing Craft. And so like the current one I've just pulled up is Sienna Ree, Mother Talzin, Battle Droid, Greedo. There's a lot of different ways you can run it. Yeah. And I have 2 Separatist Landing Craft, but I have in there, money stuff like Aftermath and Houndstooth and Enrage and stuff like that. And by the way, No Good Me Dead, which is really sick. And I have like speeder tanks and a sonic cannon and Kylo Ren Starfighter along with the landing craft. So it's like it could go either way. And the funny thing is, I have no idea if this deck is good, but it's won 2 convincing games. Like it's actually performed really well. I don't know if it's good, but it's a lot of fun, and it's that same kind of thing of like it threatens to loop battle droids and have a ton of health, and that's a really scary thing to try to get around.
Yeah, it's like high health in a a metagame where people are playing indirect damage is definitely a benefit.
Yeah, it's scary to try to shoot through.
Yeah. Do you have Chance Cube in there?
I don't have Chance Cube in mine. No.
Okay.
It has 2 upgrades. Can you guess them?
Hunker Down.
That's a good guess. That's incorrect.
Okay. Let's see.
It is the most
Yeah, I
ubiquitous
don't know.
blue upgrade in the game.
Oh, Force Illusion.
Force Illusion. It has 2 Force Illusions. That's it.
Nice.
All right. So it's my turn, I guess. My next deck is Elite Aayla Secura, Elite New Poe, plus $1. Drop a Lightbow turn 1. Drop a Pose Blaster turn 2. Your opponent begs for mercy.
That sounds really strong. So
I
not
think
quite, oh,
that's the aggro deck. I do not think Obi-Wan Maz is anywhere near as strong as that. I'm not saying it's the best deck, but I think it's a very, very strong aggressive deck.
yeah, I can totally see that. You got what, like 4 dice that you can roll out and fix all of your other dice, plus 3 resources to start the game, and
Yep.
man, that sounds real nasty.
Yeah, and you've got, like, so my rough draft version has 2 light bows, 2 heirlooms, a regular lightsaber, and a raised lightsaber, and 2 lightsaber pulls. So I'm gonna have a 3-drop turn 1. That's
Yeah.
gonna happen. So you're dealing with 5 effective dice turn 1, and there's enough weapons where turn 2 is probably also a weapon, which is 6 really strong dice at the start of turn 2. You better have some stuff.
Yeah, definitely. You're like overcoming, a turn 1 light bow is not easy.
Yeah. And
For-
then it's
for
like
any deck.
R2-P2 in that you're like, all right, I'm close. And you're like, caution. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Field medic. No! Ancient lightsaber. Did you hurt my guy? I feel like you hurt him at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really scary. Like, aggro plus R2-P2. It's a scary deck. I'm wondering if it is more than just like a really good aggro deck. It's another deck I've only tested a couple times. It hasn't lost. It's been really strong. But it's that question of is it the best? I don't know. Is it super powerful even? I don't know.
Yeah, I do like the sound of it. So I may have to give it a try.
All right, what else are you
I'll
looking
probably
at?
give it many tries. All right, so we're going to talk about one of the decks that I've been playing and having a lot of fun with, and a like above average amount of success with, and it is Yoda with Saw. Which
You're the Yoda with Saw guy. I heard about this deck. Okay, let's hear it.
It's really hard to play. I'm going to preface with that.
That's what everyone says when they have a bad deck. No, it's not the deck, man. It's you. It's
Yeah.
you. You lost 12 games because it's, quote, hard to play.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like the obvious goal is to get Saw special off for $1 billion. So I have 2 Millennium Falcons and 2 Pirate Speeder tanks,
Nice.
and most games I can get at least 15 damage off with Saw special.
Oh my goodness.
Which is good. So that's one that I've just been like having fun with. I don't know if it's like actually good or not, but it's so entertaining to play. Like between the like those upgrades and then like Vibro Cutlass ends up being really good because like Yoda actually makes a ton of money.
Yes.
And so like you can play a turn 1 Vibro Cutlass fairly easily onto Saw, and then just roll out 2s, 3s, and 4s all for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So something blue, yellow like that. I think one card that I'm finding is like actually like pretty insane is Easy Pickings, which
Really?
is
The card looks
yeah,
so bad.
I know it looks real bad, but I've been able to use it every single game, and I'm removing like 2-3 sides, or I'm removing like the 2-1 damage base sides, or like your opponent rolls out, they roll 2 blanks, you can remove those.
You know what?
so-
That's a good point against Tarkin decks. Maybe it's a meta call.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when your opponent actively wants to have 2 dice of
Yeah.
the same. Well, but so Tarkin at least is just the same symbol, not
Yeah.
same symbol and value, but the one thing is that it ignores modifiers and like resource costs.
Right.
So like let's say you're playing against Obi-Wan and they roll out the 3 and the 3 for 1, like you can still remove both of those, which is really sweet.
Confirmed. Obi-Wan deck is terrible.
So that's one card that
Yeah.
that I found is really good in the deck. Another card that I really like in this deck, or any deck with some focus, is Impulsive, which is ambush, resolve one of your dice. So in this deck, you can roll out Yoda, hit the 2 focus, and then Impulsive on the 2 focus, change 2 of your dice to whatever you want, and then resolve both of those.
What is this card? Impulsive?
So,
I don't even know this card. I'm looking
it's
for
a zero cost hero event, and it's just ambush, resolve one of your dice. So
what color is it?
It's yellow. Yeah.
Okay.
So like any deck with with a good amount of focus,
Here we go.
can you use this card pretty well.
Yeah, you love those cards.
It's just like a free all in.
What was the card you were playing last meta so much?
Swiftness.
Swiftness. Yeah, so this is just like a better version of Swiftness for you. You're so excited.
It's like anything to sort of surprise your opponent.
Do you run Swiftness
I'm all
also
into.
though? That's the question, Mike.
Yeah, I could.
Wouldn't surprise me. You're like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's funny because someone told me about that deck, and I was like, I was sitting thinking about it. I was like, with how much money Yoda makes, that just might work really well, because it's like you're not just playing those expensive stuff to throw with Saw. Yoda can actually play them also.
Oh yeah.
And you can play second chances, and you can do all kinds of stuff because Yoda makes so much money. But yeah, I could see that being a legit deck for sure. I haven't tried it yet, but it sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah, it's very fun. Yeah, I've been having a good time with it.
All right.
The only problem is that I have 0 Yodas, so.
Well, I have a Yoda.
Small problem.
So there's one. John has 2 Yodas, so we can probably hook
each
you
have
up
a
with
Yoda.
Yodas. I mean, I'll sell you my Yoda for $80. I'll cut you a deal. We all know he's going up.
I'm just gonna play 1 die Yoda and then the plot that gives me an extra resource.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
But it'll be the same thing, right?
It's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. Have you seen the Yoda mill deck? The Yoda Jedi Partisan deck?
I've played that one I think twice.
It seems really strong.
Yeah, it's good.
Except for the fact that Ancient Lightsaber exists.
Yep. Ancient Lightsaber exists, makes it so that if you don't have a way to remove cards from the top of your opponent's deck after they use the Ancient Lightsaber, then you just lose. It also is really bad at getting cards out of your opponent's hand, because almost all the mill in the deck is from the top of their deck. So it can be hard to finish out the game. Like, yes, you have discard sides on some of your dice, but they're all 1 and 6s.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've been able to use effectively, or I guess there's 2 things. One is Bespin Wingguard, which is not going to be legal for our regionals because it's from Rivals. And the other is Tough Haggler, which, if they have money, which they're going to be getting it, every round at the end of the game, like, they don't have to discard the cards. So
Tough Haggler seems really bad to me for that reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's really good early on, but yeah, it gets a bit dicey towards the end.
Yeah. I think there also just needs to be a new Kylo deck. Like, there's a lot of decks that are running heavy on a color. I don't know what the new Kylo deck is with the new stuff, but I think there's got to be a good new Kylo deck. Is it Emo Kids maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was good before. There's no reason why it didn't get worse. So
right. And that's the funny thing with the new set. We kind of like R2-P2 may just be the best deck still. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, everyone just kind of drops it and they're like, oh, there's all these amazing things, and you're like, well, there was no balance of the Force, guys. It's not like all these decks are dead now. Though Tarkin is a broken card, and so that may be giving people pause there.
Yeah. Yeah. Although R2-P2 takes indirect damage pretty well, so.
Yes, like amazingly, insanely well.
Yeah.
Any other comments you want to make about potential decks that you're excited about?
I think that's everything I got off the top of my head anyway.
Yeah, same here. I want to talk about a question that I heard from a person, and then somebody asked me for the show, and they were curious about what I thought about power creep in this set. I actually had someone tell me the other day, I'm quitting the game. It was nice knowing you, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's too bad. Well, I'm just curious what your reason was. I always try to ask that question, and they said the obvious power creep, and I was like, obvious power creep. Like, did you play Spirit of Rebellion? Like, cards had to be, like, many cards had to be errated because they were too good. So I'll just put the question to you. Do you see, quote, obvious power creep or power creep at all in the set? What are your thoughts about power creep?
I, not really. I think that there are a lot of strong characters in this set specifically, but I don't think that it's power creep. I think that it's bringing sort of the general power level of heroes or just of characters like to the point where it should be. And I guess maybe that can be like interpreted as power creep, but I view it as just like how it should have always been, because there's plenty of characters that just straight up don't see play at all because they're garbage, and this set doesn't really have any of those, I don't think, which I think is a win.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. I think there are definitely a couple cards that are over the curve, but I think that's the case with all sets, right? It's like Spirit of Rebellion was power creep because there were like a million broken cards. Like Force Illusion continues to be a completely defining card and was like the 9th most powerful card in the set or something, and didn't get touched ever. I think something like Aayla Secura is just a mistake, right? And she will get fixed, and Tarkin is the same way. So like when I think of power creep, I think of like, you know, most of the cards supplanting the old cards. I don't think of it as like two outliers that are really good. So I don't know. I don't really see power creep. I don't see a holocron. You know, I don't see these kind. I don't see nines in here. They're just there's some good cards, and like you said, they've done a better job, I think, with this set at just having top to bottom decent playable cards, which to me isn't power creep. It's called learning how to design Destiny cards.
Right.
Because we forget, right? Like, it's not like they designed 27 sets in the background that they didn't put out. They designed a set and released it, and then we're like, I don't know, maybe that's how you design Destiny cards. Let's make another one. Yeah. Oh, no, that's not how you design Destiny cards at all. Oh, no, let's make another one. Oh, that one's not powerful enough. That's not really how you design them either. And I feel like this is the first set where I'm like, this is how you design Destiny cards. Thumbs up. Awesome job. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes me more excited to play in the trilogies format, because I kind of want to just like, you know, be done with the first 3 sets, because there were so many growing pains throughout them, and just kind of like I think that if you had to play this set by itself, you know, with like the 2-player set and whatever, I think that'd be an awesome time.
Yeah, I would love to see like a new group of people, right? They're just like, listen, I'm a trilogies guy. Period. I don't play standard tournaments. I only do trilogies. I made a trilogies YouTube channel, a trilogies podcast. I started a trilogies circuit in my area, and that's what I do. I'm a trilogies guy. That's all I play. I would think that'd be pretty cool. I want to have that format take off. Right now, I feel like it's FFG being like, wink, wink, don't worry, cards aren't useless. We have these different formats. Wink, wink. Isn't that neat? And you're like, no one, like, you said that, and for a second I was like, trilogies, and I was like, oh right, there's 3 formats. I forgot.
Yeah.
And maybe after rotation comes, it'll be more obvious that there's 3 formats. But I agree. I think it's really cool that there's actually a format where we could just sit down and play this little format and have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Let's do the regional. We'll just show up with trilogies decks.
Trilogies decks? I'm down, man.
Trilogies only, baby. But here's what we're gonna do. You're not DQ. Just take out any non-trilogies card from your deck and put a random one in. I think it's fair.
I agree.
We're at a draft deck. Okay. So I basically, I think we're in agreement on power creep, not power creep. And I think we're both in agreement that we would rather Spirit of Rebellion just went bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think Awakenings too, and for a different reason. I think Awakenings' problem is that there is too much awesome removal. That's what I think is the issue.
Yeah, could not agree more. There are still so many events that are played from Awakenings that it like half of most of my decks are like events from Awakenings.
Yeah. Yep. It's not even that one individual one is too good. It's that there's just too many of them that are good. That's my big complaint. If there was just he doesn't like you, I'd be like, okay, that's really good, but it's one. Like it's not game breaking, it's just good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk real quick about some quick draft stuff with Legacies then before we head out. I've been having a lot of fun with Legacies, way more than Empire at War for this reason. There's actually some removal in Legacies, but it's not like busted removal like it was in Awakenings. It's just really solid, but there's not much of it. So I feel like there's this really interesting dynamic of early in a pack when you're past a bad die and a best removal in set, what do you take? And I think that's really interesting and makes for a really fascinating draft format.
Yeah. To me, like I can tell that this is the first set that was designed with draft in mind. Like it feels like it really comes together, and like there are various sort of like, you know, quote unquote archetypes that you could draft. Like let's say your plan is to build like the indirect damage deck. Like there's so much support in the set for that strategy that like you can just pick up those cards and play that. So I like it, and I like that the removal is like, you know, not as prevalent, but there is still some, so you can sort of tailor your deck to that and be able to play like. Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought, but removal's good.
Yeah,
this set's awesome.
Yeah, I had in our draft, I had a really awful draft where I didn't open any legendaries, I didn't open any power rares. The people next to me would open like a legendary and two of the worst rares in the set that were technically dice cards but like completely unplayable, and I ended up drafting a removal deck. And so I had like 2 copies of Mislead, which is cost 1, remove a character die showing a value of 2 or less, a couple other removal cards, and I just basically removed everyone's everything and went 2-1 and was very close to going 3-0, except for a attack run into a 4 when I had removal for it. Like I would have won the game if he had just rolled it out regularly. I would have immediately removed it no matter what side he rolled, and instead he was like attack run 4, boom, game, and I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me?
I hate those kind of losses.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was really weird because at first, like, I got my deck and I was like, oh my goodness, I am going to lose because I don't have any dice. Like I drafted 4 dice total in the whole thing, and that usually equates to a loss. And one of them was a character. No, 2 were characters. So I had like 2 extra dice cards in my whole deck.
Oh my gosh.
And I just ran a little lighter. I ran like 27 cards, I think, to give myself a better shot. Because I had so much removal, I could mulligan my entire hand and you know, go for a die card, right? Whatever that was. And I ended up doing well. I will say though, I got the Booma, and we ruled that the Booma could roll out and then have me resolve it and then power action it, which I'm unclear on what the actual rule is. We tried to come up with an agreement on Discord, and we agreed that it seemed like maybe you couldn't do that, but no one was really sure, because it doesn't say that you have to roll the die out from the set-aside zone. It just says you put it back.
Roll a Booma die.
Right, and there's nothing that says you can't move a die from a set-aside zone, because you obviously have to when you play an upgrade. That's how it works. And so it's like this whole, again, FFG being like, hey, we threw the set-aside zone in later. We don't even really know what the set-aside zone is. So it needs a tighter definition, I think, before we can really be rocking on that.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a few conversations with people about that. I think that specifically for the Boomas, like you should be able to use the power action. Doesn't make a ton of sense that you wouldn't be able to. For something like Seventh Sister or Krennic, like
Yeah,
you know,
that's
in
different.
in theory, if you draft those, like you can't be expected to bring, you know, those the ID9 or the Death Trooper, especially if you're a new player who like doesn't even have those cards.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's a huge bummer that you could draft those and then not be able to play them to their full potential.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like, you open Seventh Sister and you're like, yes, awesome legendary. Oh, wait. I'm paying 11 for one not amazing die.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, maybe this is not
That
going to work out.
that actually happened in our draft.
I know.
That we had.
Remember,
a
did
couple weeks
it
ago,
get
yeah.
passed a couple times? Or did someone
Oh
just
yeah,
snap it up?
I passed the hell out of that die.
Yeah. I mean, no one would be able to play it. No one played the die, I remember. I think someone
Yeah.
just rare drafted it.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Mike. Well, I'm excited. I'm still excited. Legacies it's exciting, but now it's terrifying. Like, my
Yeah.
favorite thing about the beginning of a set is like, whatever. I'm running all kinds of crazy stuff. I give myself several weeks to have fun and not play the meta. And instead it's like, hey man, are you joking? You don't have much time. Every second you look at Destiny better be in a competitive frame of mind, and so that's been a little bit sad for me, but I am still enjoying the set quite a bit. Like I said, I feel like this is the first time I can just say to FFG, awesome set, top to bottom, good work, no huge complaints, other than why is Tarkin so broken, but we can fix that. How about you,
Yeah,
Mike? Still excited?
Oh yeah.
One week
I
later.
totally agree with your sentiment. Yeah.
All right.
Love the set,
Well,
so.
that is going to wrap up the Smuggler's Den today. Mike, why don't you let people know where they can usually find you on a weekly basis?
You can hear me on the Jedi Trials, which is another Star Wars Destiny podcast if you've not heard of it. So yeah, go check that out.
It's a podcast that actually makes regular episodes instead of thinking that they do, right?
Well, there was a bit of a lapse over the vacation time, but
Yeah, the holidays are
we're
challenging.
back on track.
All right, I'm hoping we're back on track now too. We had a little
Yeah.
bump. The Smugglers Den will hopefully once again be a weekly podcast. I had a guest lined up and that fell apart last week, and then it just kind of like everything unraveled. It was like, oh, you're not available on that day late in the week. I can't do the next day. The weekend's busy. I guess we're doing it late next week. So that was kind of weird. But again, trying to do it. Check me out on YouTube, on Patreon Tiny Grimes, on Twitch Tiny Grimes, everywhere, everything Tiny Grimes. And I'll see you next time on the Smuggler's Den. And you know what, Mikey? You know what they say? Keep smuggling.
Keep smuggling.
Keep smuggling.